Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. Thought I was going to talk a little bit more on food, on a three-man militia, preparing food. And this is going to be after a shit hits the fan situation. What you're going to have to do after a crisis or whatever, one of the first things you're going to have to set up is a kitchen. You have to set up a kitchen. You have to start preparing food. Now, there's going to, depending on your situation, how you're set up, and all this kind of stuff, you're going to have to figure out how you're going to do it. I'm going to give you an idea, and like I say, I'm pretty much out in the country, in my place in Oklahoma, and even here in Guatemala, we are outside the city. Now, here they have shit at the fan all the time, so it's a little different here. I say they're used to problems, and you already know we're fenced off. We've got a creek running on one side. We have a little river running on the back side, and we have this fence. One gate on that end. This is our main gate. And then right there, and then we have clear on the other end, there's another gate. This is the only gate we have open, and so when we have a shit hit the fan situation, we're able to lock down pretty good, and we're sitting on maybe 20 acres. So and like I say, we're self-sufficient. We have generator, we have our own water well, and like I say, it's a hotel, so we pretty much have everything we need. But what I have learned is we have a staff of 60, and we take on another, oh man, probably 300 to 500 we can take in, and so we're capable of taking on a lot more than what we already have. And but I say what I want to talk about is the food type thing. And I say, so if you were to put this, and that's why a lot of the stuff that I visualize is either from here or from Oklahoma. So in other words, I could set this in Oklahoma, and I would pretty much try to run it pretty much the same way. And the reason is, I mean, these people are set up for hanging on and taking care of many people. Now, right now, we don't have a clinic or hospital. We used to. Years ago, we used to, clear on the other end, we did have a clinic. And so it's not hard to put one up. And the reason we don't have one anymore is because, well, if I was, I haven't been here all these years. So if I was here, I would have went on and made a clinic down there. And like I say, just pretty much just take care of aches and pains and minor injuries. And then just for here. Now, if we're talking about setting up a place in Oklahoma, I would need to have somebody, a doctor or a surgeon or something, with the equipment, and start getting all this equipment put in and set up and ready to go. But that's the main reason why like I say, I've got my bus, and I'm in the process of setting my bus up, so I can cook. I have everything I need that I can move our kitchen to where we need to be. Now where we're at in Oklahoma, it's probably about a 10-mile stretch. So that's why I thought we'd better put up some kind of a mobile kitchen. Now, the way I see it can be done is, and this is basically what they do here. I say we feed our staff on a regular scheduled time, and it's like 7 in the morning. People that have worked through the night, they eat. The ones that are coming in to work, they'll be eating, and they'll be eating through maybe a 2-hour process, and then the same thing will be in the evening. Be about I guess about 5 o'clock is when they start eating again, and same thing. So, and that's what I talked about before. You have to be prepared to feed everybody twice a day, and that's what you'll be eating 2 times a day. I mean, this is an emergency situation, so we're not dining 3 times a day. So so you have to, and then in between these times, even here in between these times, we have guests that are coming to our hotel, and so we need to get them fed. And it'll be the same thing on a shit hit the fan type situation. You'll have transits coming through, or you'll have people in transit they were coming to our location, and so in other words, they need to be fed when they come in. So in other words, not only you'll be feeding at a scheduled time, but you have to be ready to prepare some food in between. And we talk about having food and storing food and this type of stuff. It'll be tough if you're talking about a 30-day shit is the fan type situation. It's going to be tough to have enough food stored for 30 days, and that's another reason why the cooking is all going to be done under some type of supervision. So then they will have a way to control the food, and also they'll be working with the logistic people, because the logistics people are going to have to start coming up with more food. So you have to have more than enough food than what you need, and I say you have to have access for like 2 or 3 days of food just right there in your kitchen area. And so in other words, you're going to have food in other places. And when it's a shit is a fan type thing, that's not that big of a thing, because there's going to be, like when I'm looking at it through my Oklahoma type thing, and that's it. We're in a small community, and many of these houses have got food stored. And like I say, because we are a small country community, we do put our food, we do store food. I mean, we don't go to the store every day when you're living out in the country like that. So you'll have, like I say, weeks supply of food, anybody will. And then people that have made it a habit to live in the country will have months supplies of food for themselves. And like I say, so during the shit at the fan situation, we will be using the food that other people have got. They'll be throwing this food in. And a lot of times people think, well, I want to go home and eat stuff. Well, you won't, because you won't have electricity, you won't have gas, you won't be able to do it, and you're going to be tired because you're going to be working all day. And you'll be eating with the rest of us. Like I say, because they'll have the food made and ready to go, and hey, if you don't like that food, you can go over there and help them start preparing food. like I say, the three-man cooking and food preparing and all this type of stuff, it's not like three people are going to do all the work, but these three will know and understand how their system is set up. So, and if you don't like it, you can come over there and you can join their three-man militia and help them prepare food. And there will be, you know, you talk about people where, you know, well, I'm not, I don't have the capabilities of doing certain kinds of work, and, you know, digging holes, and I don't want to, you know, do night watch all night long. You know, okay, no problem, because I'm sure they're going to have some duties that you'll be able to fulfill in the food preparation. So, in other words, this food thing is a big deal. But with the three-man militia that knows and understands how to do it, how to prepare it, and knows who to get a hold of, then they're going to get some more food for them. The logistics part. And then, like I say, the rest of us will be providing the protection and providing wood, if they need wood to cook with. You know, whatever it is that they need, the rest of us will be doing it. The food preparation is a very, very important thing. And it's the same thing, any armies or any military or any force that's coming against you, they have to have food. They have to. If you can't feed your army, you will lose your army. There's a saying that an army travels on its stomach. And what they mean is if you can't keep the food going for them, you're going to lose them. And that's where we're going to have the advantage, because as a militia, we are in our homes, our home areas. So we have food, we don't need to transport it, providing we are growing it and we've stored it. So that's where we have the advantage over militaries. Militaries, they can occupy you, but they can only do it for so long. Their supply systems will be stretched out because they're going to have other places. Now, you might be under siege, you might be having problems, but you got to remember that's putting strain on the other places. So that's, now we're right back to why three-man militias need to work with each other. And this is where I talked about working with other militias outside of your community. Some communities might have to take the blunt of all the force being put down on them. But like I say, when it's over, they're going to need the support of other communities, other three-man militias and other communities. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.